All, all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, and esteemed participants and distinguished guests, again, we are back with another webinar of ours where we are showcasing and where Bimal sir is present in his own capacity to guide us through the IMS and what are the new changes that is applicable. And today we have a little change in our normal webinar process. Today, for the first time, Sir will be showcasing in presentation. I'm sure it is the request that we have all received. And little bit, Sir will be having his own nature of showcasing without presentation and little bit of with presentation. And most of you are aware of Bimal Sir's background, but it is always a pleasure for me when I'm able to introduce him to someone who is new in this webinar. So just a little background of who Bimal Sir is. So Bimal Jain sir is a renowned chartered accountant, a member of ICAI since 94, with an exceptional reputation for his expertise in tax, laws, compliance, and financial strategies. With an illustrious career for over 22 years, he has been a driving force in shaping the financial landscape in and across country. And not only this, he has corporate experience as well, where he has worked with so many prestigious companies from LG, where he left as a senior auditor with a great amount of package that is obviously should not be said. And yet he's had the guts to start his own business when he was at the peak of his career. That shows that the background and the confidence that Bimal sir has in his parting of knowledge when it comes to GST. Not only this, he has been an illustrious speaker in and across so many conventions and programs where he has broken a world record when it comes to Japan as well, where he was in front of 4,500 plus attendees. So this is a little background, and even now I'm telling you this is not enough. I'm cutting it short because it's a very important topic that we are going to discuss today, and I don't want to come in between anymore. So with this, Vimal sir, a very warm welcome to you again for joining with us, and the stage is all yours, sir.
At the outset, let me greet and thank each of the participants and lovely introduction, Hers,
Thank you, sir.
to start with for important topic, invoice management system. I hope I'm audible and visible to my all the participants. If yes, you can say yes in the question answers tab so that we can start right away. Thanking each one of you who are taking out time and joining today. And rest assured, we are going to enjoy today. We will understand the importance of invoice management system a lot more. Why invoice management system? What is the importance? What are the needful activities we have to do? And what are the caution and precaution? Everything. And what are the challenges as on date? We are going to discuss everything on IMS. So without taking much time, let me start with. See, if you look at the background, the preamble, before starting invoice management system, shortly IMS. In financial year 23-24, around 1.13 lakh so-called notices were issued to the registered taxable person in GST. Around 1.13 lakh in financial year 23-24. And these so-called notices majorly on data verification when they have compared GSTR 1 versus GSTR 3B for the supplier. There's a mismatch. So so-called notices got issued to the supplier. So-called notices got issued when there's a difference in credit avail in 3B, GSTR 3B versus GSTR 2A. Third important point was RCM liability whether paid and of which credit availed by the registered person. So major on data verification. How this data verification is working in GST is very important when you look at from recipient perspective. So in all discussion today, I'm going to be your supplier and you all are my buyer, recipient. So that is the way we need to understand. In GST, what challenge we are facing today as a background, as a preamble, being buyer, you're struggling with. Your credit is being denied on multiple count. But the way we got started in the beginning, you must be recalling. So before I start, we must take a note. What are the conditions need to be satisfied for availing GST credit? So when you are availing credit, what all condition you need to satisfy? Under section 16, subsection 2, clause A, you should have tax invoice copy. You must have received goods or services. Your supplier must have paid taxes. So there's a challenge we are facing pan-India. Being buyer, you have paid the amount to the supplier, and your supplier is a defaulter one and he has not deposited. What happened to your credit, and how IMS going to helpful to present your case, to defend your case? Fourth condition, you being recipient regularly filing GSTR 3B. These were the four conditions we started with. Fifth condition got introduced on 1st January 2022, that whatever credit you are availing in 3B must be matched with GSTR 2B. GSTR 2B. There's no reference of GSTR 2A. So this was the fifth condition introduced from 1st January 2022. So these are the conditions to satisfy the credit. But in GST law, there's the one important section, section 155. Burden of proof lies on you, on recipient, on buyer, that he is having all documentation and he is eligible to avail credit. So tomorrow, if any dispute happen for credit, it is you who need to satisfy. But you're challenging when your supplier is not tax compliant, he's not depositing the taxes, he's not regularly filing the GST return, or making mistake while filing GST return. What you would be doing as a recipient? Given this context, we have to understand everything. When we started GST, I'm telling you the way it was envisaged, had it been continued, we would have minimum of the problems. But today, you'd be recalling that we are challenging, we are facing so many challenges because of non-compliance by the supplier. Now, first situation, which is interesting and we must take a note of it. There are specific sections in GST law, section 37, 38, 39, 42, 43, 43A. What was those sections referred to? That being supplier, I'm going to file GSTR 1 by 10th of next month, which will get auto-populated in your 2A. And you need to file GSTR 2 by 15th of next month, and you were given the option, you can add, modify, delete, while filing your GSTR 2 for availing credit. When you do any kind of add, modify, delete, it gets auto-populated in GSTR 1A for the supplier, either to accept or reject. And then we were filing GSTR 3. This was initially envisaged, but we all know 2 and 3 never got implemented. And that is the reason all challenges as on date. Even coming to the second point, today we get many so-called notices when you talked about 17, 18, 18, 19, 19, 20, initial years of GST implementation. We get so-called notices just on this ground that credit availed in 3B, let's say 10 lakh rupees, is not matching with GSTR 2A. Am I right? You may have got number of so-called notices. Why? When 2A is not a condition for availing credit, why department is issuing such so-called notices? And there may be possibility why 2A, the transaction is not getting auto-populated in 2A. Reason could be the first one, being supplier is wrongly furnishing GST number of buyer, recipient. It will not get auto-populated. Maybe place of supply is wrongly furnished by the supplier. Maybe supplier has paid the taxes through 3B, but he has not filed GSTR1. Maybe B2B supply furnished as it B2C, it is not getting auto-populated. So it is not coming in your two-way. There's no fault on your part. No fault on your part. If GST, the way it was envisaged, implemented, then these problems could have been solved. 1, 2A, 2, 1A, and 3. But we have seen 2 and 3 never got implemented. Even 2A came into the picture sometime beginning of January 2019. So why such so-called notices? You can always reply to your authority that GSTR 2A is not a condition to avail credit. Subsequently, you can quote Supreme Court judgment Bharti Airtel, clearly saying that 2A is only facilitation, but 2B is important, effective from January 1, 2022. So, but these were the challenges. Why your credit, buyer's credit, for the fault of supplier? That is the point I'm making here, because I'm drawing importance of IMS, preamble of IMS, how IMS going to help us on real-time basis our ITC match, so that tomorrow there will not be any dispute. Another point which I can pick up for your understanding, Section 16, subsection 2, clause C. You as a buyer has paid the amount to the supplier and supplier has not deposited. Government GST department coming to you and asking you to reverse credit because of fault of your supplier of non-payment of taxes. And they wanted you to reverse along with interest and penalty for no fault on your part. Recently, I got an opportunity to defend one case before Commissioner Appeal, and I picked up 4 grounds. Out of 4 grounds, there was 1 ground of IMS also. That is what the importance of IMS you need to understand. What are the 4 grounds which I have pitched and defended? The first one, I said to the Commissioner Appeal, I said, Madam, for initial financial year 17-18 and 18-19, how being recipient, I would be knowing that my supplier has not deposited the tax when GSTR 2A was not available. It only came from January 2019, right? So prior to that, there was no window, no documentation available whereby it can be cross-checked that your supplier, even after collecting, is not depositing the tax. So the concept called doctrine of impossibility. How buyer and recipient can be penalized when nothing was available. Second, even 2A has come. Can you say with conformity? I'm asking each one of you. Can you say with conformity that your supplier has deposited the tax? To my mind, no. I can give you the example. Let's say my turnover is 10 lakh rupees. Out of 10 lakh, 5 lakh rupees invoice I have raised to you. But what I did, I filed my one with 5 lakh and paid the taxes 5 lakh. So you will see my status as a filed, but on your invoice, I have not paid the amount to the government exchequer. So even though 2A is available, but that is not certainty that your supplier has paid the taxes. Coming back to the third legal ground, which is important one, for defending Section 16, subsection 2, clause C cases, Section 41, subsection 2, read with Rule 37A. 41, subsection 2 is a prospective clause, came from 1st October 2022. And as per this provision, you as a buyer need to reverse credit. You as a buyer need to reverse credit for the fault of your supplier of non-payment of taxes. This provision came very first time, prospectively, from 1st October 2022, and I argued before ma'am. I said to Commissioner Appeal, ma'am, when this reversal provision is coming from 1st October 2022 onwards, then for the past period, you can't demand a reversal. You can't demand reversal. I hope you will agree with me. Had there been any reversal provision which they are invoking for the initial financial years, why they brought this provision respectively from 1st October 2022, meaning thereby for the past period there was no provision. If any fault which is of supplier, you should catch hold of defaulting supplier for depositing this tax. And Section 76 of CGST Act clearly saying that any person who is collecting the tax and not depositing, it should be demanded from that person. So buyer and recipient should not be penalized. But important aspect which I shared and defended before Commissioner Appeal is IMS, Invoice Management System. I said to ma'am, and I'm telling to all of you, I said, ma'am, have you seen that IMS, though optional, got introduced from October 2024? And what is IMS? I have explained to the ma'am. I said, ma'am, IMS means my supplier going to save or file the invoices, which is raised to the buyer, to the recipient. And recipient can see such invoices and take needful action like accept, reject, pending, and no action. If recipient accepts such invoice, then it will automatically go to GSTR 2B of my recipient and will get auto-populated in GSTR 3B of the recipient. Simultaneously, on acceptance of invoice by recipient, it will go to my GSTR, it is part of my GSTR 1, will go to my GSTR 3B for discharging the tax liability. Meaning thereby, invoice level matching, it got introduced very first time from October 2024. So ma'am, for the past period, when there was no system, no machinery system, no machinery provision for invoice level matching, how you can ask buyer, poor buyer, genuine and honest buyer, recipient to deny credit for the fault of supplier? You're bringing IMS now. Now we can cross-check invoice level wise. So if any fault from October 2024 onwards, you can catch hold of recipient, but prior to that, you can't do it. So I given this argument to the madam. And let me tell you, when I've argued everything before Commissioner Appeal, I got relief from her. For Section 16, subsection 2, clause C, it was fault of supplier. And I've given other background also. I paid the amount to the supplier. I got all the documentation. My bank statement also referred to that I paid the amount to the supplier. But IMS was one of the important aspects which I have shared, discussed, and defended. Having said this, IMS is going to be important. So this is a realistic way we have to understand. Today, what message I'm getting from my tax friends and professionals, they are saying that the government has introduced now one more activity got added for our compliances. But this compliances is going to done away all dispute pertaining to ITC matching and mismatching. Even your supplier who is raising invoice, which is not a correct invoice because he has not mentioned your GST number. He has not mentioned your GST number and thereby not getting auto-populated in 2A, 2B of yours, of recipient. You can reject such invoices. Which platform will give you this option? IMS. So IMS is important. And what can be kept as a pending? We are going to discuss everything at length. So now I'm going to share one PPT because I was told that my lot of viewers always look for the PPT. So I'm starting my screen with the PPT and discuss each of the component for IMS. Let me share my screen first.
Sir, it's audible. Sorry, it's visible.
I hope my PPT is visible to all.
Yes, sir.
Visible to all.
People who are able to see, just
Just
say
say
yes
yes.
in question and answers tab, please.
Yeah. Can you see my PPT so that I can start immediately?
Yes, sir. People have replied yes, sir.
Okay. So I'm starting and I will go slow. Please listen everything why IMS I have explained to all of you. I've given the preamble and background. Keeping this preamble and background in your mind, you must look at IMS. What IMS is going to provide you? IMS is going to efficiently address invoice correction. Why correction? If supplier wrongly mentioning your GST number or any particulars which is required on tax invoice, you can reject such invoices. So it is going on real-time basis. Amendment. Once you reject the invoice, your supplier need to undertake amending such invoices. It is all happening that through portal, which is a GST portal through IMS system. It will help in matching records, invoices issued by the supplier for availing correct ITC and improve the reconciliation. So it is going to benefit all the buyers, all the recipient. Invoices can either be accepted. If it is correct invoice belonging to you, you must accept. Thereby, it will go to in liability column of supplier in 3B, and it will go to your 2B and then auto populated in 3B for availing credit accepted invoice. You can take reject action means reject. Why reject? Because invoice is having wrong particulars and you do not want to accept such invoice. You can reject such invoices. Keep certain invoices pending also. I will tell you in what all situation you're going to keep it pending. And there would be last action, no action, which is deemed acceptance. We will discuss everything thoroughly. Having said that, now look at the background. When this GSTN has started talking about IMS, initially they have started with the advisory on 3rd of September 2024. They said that IMS going to be introduced. They issued draft manual on 17th of September. They issued the first FAQ on 22nd September and portal enabled the IMS in a period 1st October to 14th October 24. Again, they issued FAQ on IMS on 17th of October and very recently in 55th GST Council meeting held on 21st December 2024, even GST Council has recommended that IMS going to be compulsory. It will not be optional. So it is good time, right time, and high time. We should get ourselves prepared. So let's look at this slide. Is very interesting and important, and I will request each one of you to pay attention. Each of the line you have to go and read as per me. I'm going one by one. Don't jump till the time I move to that particular box. So I'm showing full slide to you, but go as per me. I'm starting with the extreme left box. Supplier going to save the tax invoice or file such invoices in GSTR1 or through invoice furnishing facility, which is applicable in case of QRMP up to 50 lakh B2B invoices, or any amendment after filing of one can be done by GSTR 1A. There are two terms used, save and file. Save means until you are filing your GSTR 1, which is normally for monthly filer 11th of next month. So you're saving such invoices. But filing such invoices happen only when you're filing your GSTR 1, which is 11th of next month. Save and file are two different activities. So save would be available to the recipient to see that these invoices are raised by the supplier And even after file, that would be visible to you. But what is the difference between save and file? We will discuss. I will explain to you. When invoices are saved, you as a recipient can see such invoices and even can accept. You can accept such invoices if it is belonging to you, or you may reject also. If it is not or wrong particulars are furnished, you can reject also. But this save, any action taken on save file will be superseded once GSTR1 filed by the supplier. So whatever invoices considered while filing GSTR1 by supplier will again top up on your IMS portal. So again, you need to take the action. So that action taken will prevail for availing credit. So that is how the meaning of save and file. Keep to your mind. So first box I've explained to you. Coming back on second box, invoice will be reflected in the IMS dashboard of the recipient. Being recipient on GSTN portal, you would be having a recipient view. So you can see your invoice supply on IMS dashboard. Now you need to take action. So there are 4 actions defined: accept, reject, pending, and no action. So accept means quite obvious. Invoice is correct. It is belonging to you, and you as a recipient accepting such invoice. So when supplier filing one on 11th of next month, and you are taking action accept, then what happened? It will go to your accepted credit in 2B and then getting auto-populated in 3B of same tax period. So this is the importance of accept. And here invoice level matching is being done. Once you do this, it is corresponding my liability, supplier's liability. After filing one, it will get auto-populated in 3B in my outward liability of supplier, and I need to pay. So means on invoice label, payment is being done, it is being insured, and your credit can't be disputed. Hope I'm clear to all of you. Except, coming back to reject. I said reject possible only when you find some mistake in the invoice raised by the supplier. You can always reject such invoice. So if you're rejecting some invoice, then that will move out of IMS and it will go to GSTR to be in rejected credit. It will go to GSTR to be in rejected credit. So rejected invoices. You would be knowing that these many invoices are rejected and quite obvious will not be auto-populated in GSTR 3B for availing credit. But you can see that rejected invoices, rejected credit will not auto-populated in GSTR 3B. That's the importance of reject. Coming to the pending. You can also keep certain invoices pending. Why you'd be keeping it pending? For the region, I'm giving you one example. There may be many other examples. Let's say as a supplier, I'm raising a particular invoice on 31st December 2024. 31st December 2024. I've shown in my GSTR 1 also. But you are receiving goods on 5th of January 2025. So quite obvious, even though it is getting auto-populated in the December month, but credit is available only when you receive the goods in the January month. So you need to keep such invoices as pending. So once you take the action pending, it will stay in IMS, will not go to your GSTR 2B and GSTR 3B. It will only go in the subsequent month, January, which I've discussed in my example with you. So hope this part is also clear to my all participants. Coming back to no action. Neither you're accepting, nor you're rejecting, nor you're keeping it pending. No action. No action is termed as a deemed accepted. And it will automatically go to your GSTR 2B, draft GSTR 2B, which is auto-populated on 14th of next month. then you need to undertake the activity. You must be recalling that your other in table 4A, you're having credit of import of goods, import of services, all other reverse charge, ISD, and then other credit 4A5 getting auto-populated there. And then you need to take action in 4B1 and 4B2. 4B1 means credit is not eligible, or you need to reverse Rule 38, Rule 42, Rule 43, 17 subsection 5 negative list. You need to reverse permanently. Table 4B2, for the time being you are reversing credit, but you will reclaim later. 4B2. Then 4C the net, and 4D1. Again, you need to mention the credit which you are re-availing with 4A5. And then 4D2 talks about any credit which is not available to you because of 16.4 time limitation or POS issue. So this is what action then you need to take in your 3B when you are doing no action. So this is what no action. Now we have understood the meaning of accept, reject, pending, and no action. So pending, they are saying you need to be careful about. When you're taking action pending, then it must be resolved till the time period is being allowed for availing credit under section 16 subsection 4. So avail ITC on such invoice or debit note till the time limit. So if you don't take any action on pending item, then by 16.4, it is going to be automatically going out of IMS. So you have to make sure all pending action must be resolved by the time limit of 16 subsection 4. And pending action cannot be taken. They have said you can't take pending action, either accept or reject. In what situation? Listen very carefully, and I've mentioned, which I'm discussing with all the participants. Pending action is not allowed for original credit note. Either you need to accept or reject as a recipient. So let's say I'm your supplier. 100 rupees is my outward supply, and 10 rupees is credit note issued by the supplier for any region. So supplier gets adjustment of tax component on 10 rupees with its output tax liability, right? And you need to reverse the credit pertaining to that 10 rupees. This is now automated in GSTR 3B. So what this IMS is saying, either you should accept the credit note issued by the supplier, or you should reject. Let's say if you're rejecting such credit note. So what happened? Supplier has taken adjustment of tax component on credit note, let's say in January month, which is rejected by you. Then in February month, to that extent, my liability will add up to that extent because you rejected such credit note. That is what IMS is going to work. So you have to be very careful that pending action is not permissible on original credit note. It is not possible even on upward or downward amendment of original credit note. So I'm going to discuss these components a little later also, but for your information, that pending action cannot be taken. Cannot be taken. Pending, you can't undertake for upward and downward amendment of original credit note. For any region, if you are making any amendment upward or downward of your original credit note, it can't be kept pending. Need to be accepted or rejected. And last one is downward amendment of any invoice or debit note. You can't keep it pending. You need to either accept or reject. This is what we have to undertake all action on IMS dashboard pertaining to invoices available to you as filed by the supplier either through GSTR 1 or 1A through amendment or invoice furnishing facility. Having said that, now this slide is important for you to avail credit, buyer to avail credit. We all know that our GSTR 2B auto-populated on 14th of next month, right? So let's say I'm a monthly supplier. I'm filing my GSTR 1 on 11th of next month. Invoice furnishing facility is happening by 13th of next month. And your 2B, buyer's 2B gets generated, draft to be generated on 14th of next month, depending on one, an invoice furnishing facility, and even 1A, which is also introduced. What is 1A? Supplier, if we want to make any amendment or add any invoice outward supply, he can do even after 11th of next month, after filing of GSTR 1. And then his liability in 3B gets auto-populated with GSTR 1 plus GSTR 1A. But here it is very interesting, and you must take a note of it. And that is what I have explained in this particular slide. So I'm reading the slide for easy understanding sake, then I will explain why it is important. Draft to be generated only on 14th of next month. Now listen, only the filed invoices, filed means those are filed by GSTR 1, invoice furnishing facility, or 1A, records by supplier will be considered for computation of ITC. Based on current cutoff date, which is happening, an action taken by the recipient, draft 2B will be made available to you, to recipient, on 14th of subsequent month as currently being generated. So there's no change pertaining to that. But now the two subject matter, two pointer which is given below is important one. If recipient take action on any invoice after 14th of the month, then GSTR 2B is required to be recomputed. And then I'm saying any action cannot be taken after filing of GSTR 3B for the same month. These two lines are very important. So I'm taking one example to explain to you. Let's say supplier has filed GSTR 1 by 11th. Some of the invoices I missed. Let's say one or two invoices I missed to file with my GSTR 1. And you need to answer by yourself. So I'm giving you a practical example. So what I did, on 13th of next month, I have filed GSTR 1A with these two invoices. Please tell me by yourself, and you can answer in a question answers tab also. So one was filed on 11th. 1A with the two invoices, missing invoices, was filed on 13th. The draft GSTR 2B getting generated on 14th. Will it contain all the invoices of 1 and 1A? Say yes or no. Say yes or no in question answers tab. And my answer is yes, it will be auto-generated. Now, I'm changing this question. Let's say the two missing invoices, I'm not filing 1A on 13, I'm filing on 15th of next month. So after 14, will it be auto-generated in your GSTR 2B, which is coming on 14? Say yes or no. It will not be. It will not be. And as per present system, if some invoices which is being added or amended after this cutoff date, after 13th, Credit gets auto-populated in 2B of next month, but IMS is giving one good feature. If you can see such invoice on 15, 16, 17 before filing 3B, you can accept such invoice. And then only you need to recompute your GSTR 2B. So you have to put recompute, which would be available on GSTN portal. So credit will automatically populated in the same tax period. You have to only undertake recompute. Hope this part is clear. But last part you should keep to your mind. Any action which you are taking on IMS, it is possible only before filing 3B. So there are sometimes multiple action. Multiple action means what? You are sometimes accepting, rejecting. This would be available to change till the time you are filing your 3B. But once 3B is being filed, then you can't take any other action. So this is what the meaning coming out for this particular. Any action cannot be taken after filing of 3B for the same month. So this was the important one. Having said, some of the FAQ issued by GSTN and FAQ was, what is the draft GSTR2B? I have said draft GSTR2B, which is getting auto-populated on 14th of next month, right? And this draft will consist of all accepted and deemed accepted record. What is deemed accepted? Where you have not taken any action. So accepted means you have taken the accepted action, and deemed accepted means you have not taken any action which should be deemed accepted and getting auto-populated in draft GSTR2B. And reject record also. It will be visible in your GSTR2B as a rejected. Here rejected records are for only view, only for view only. Will not flow to your GSTR3B. Next question. Is there any scenario where draft GSTR2B will not be generated by the system on 14th of subsequent month? Interesting question. Is there any scenario when your draft 2B is not generated? Yes. As per rule 59 sub rule 6, if you have not filed your 3B and not paid the taxes of previous tax period, then your 2B will not be auto-generated. But through your IMS, you can generate 2B from IMS dashboard. This is what the FAQ responded as issued by GSTN. Now we are going to discuss and test our understanding. I've discussed everything. Now we have to check whether we got it right or wrong. Got it right or wrong. So you check yourself, you test yourself. First action was accept, right? First action was accept. What happened if recipient accepts the records? And I've divided into two components. When you're accepting any invoice before filing one by supplier. So I have not filed any one. GSTR1 is due on 11th. You saw certain invoices on 9th, which is before filing GSTR1. So if you accept such invoice, which is in save mode, not in file mode, save mode. So what would be the outcome? The accepted invoice can be further edited. So save mode invoices can further be edited, and supplier can file the GSTR1 with the same details. So until it is filed, it is not freezed. This is what the meaning. So this edited record will be made available in the IMS for subsequent action by the recipient. So even though you may have taken some action on save records, but once GSTR1 is being filed, again, this would be available to you for your subsequent action. So it is your choice whether you want to take action when records are in save mode, or you want to take action when records are after filing GSTR1. So right-hand side option. If you are getting your records after filing of GSTR1 by supplier, so supplier has filed 1 by 11th of next month. So what is, if you accept such invoices before 14th, it is going to be auto-populated in your GSTR2B, draft GSTR2B. Am I right? But let's say you are accepting on 16 or 17, you should bear in your mind, 16 and 17, it is not in draft GSTR2B, but you can recompute them. After 14th, recipient needs to recompute GSTR2B to avail the ITC in GSTR3B, which I've explained just before this slide. Now, let's say you are rejecting some invoice, rejecting some records, again in a save mode or file mode. So any invoice prior to filing GSTR1 by the supplier in a save mode, and you're rejecting such invoice. So what happened? Come back before filing of GSTR1 by supplier. The invoices can be edited then. So if you're rejecting as a supplier, I will come to know and I can edit such invoices, and supplier can subsequently file GSTR1 with edited detail. So this is possible. And this edited record will be made available in the IMS for the subsequent action by the recipient. So this is what real-time basis, the communication between supplier and recipient will be auto-flowing through IMS dashboard. What happens if GSTR1 is being filed and you find that such invoices are having wrong particulars? Then you are rejecting such invoice. When you're rejecting such invoice, then supplier can either amend through GSTR1A till the filing of 3B, or add some missing invoices in GSTR1A, or in subsequent month, he can again provide these invoices with the correct particulars through GSTR1. This is what you're getting. But within the same tax period, if it is amended through GSTR1A till 13th of next month, draft GSTR2B on 14th. After 14th, it is visible to you. If you accept, you have to recompute then. So that is how the process needs to be followed. Amended record will be made available in the IMS for action by the recipient. So this is the reject. Coming back to the pending. If you keep certain records as pending as a recipient, so either you keep it pending before filing in save mode, or after filing of GSTR1 by the supplier. Pending means it is not going to be part of your GSTR2B and 3B. But you need to bear in your mind, you need to close such pending action till the time limit 30th November of succeeding financial year, 16 subsection 4. Once records cross the time limit prescribed in 16 subsection 4 of the CGST Act, it will be removed from IMS, meaning thereby you have not taken any action on pending item and time limit is being crossed. Then it will be automatically removed from the IMS because credit is not available. So let me take your taste once again, because I'm trying my best putting the subject matter here and there and trying to check whether you're getting it right or wrong. You try to answer by yourself, because at the moment I'm running through PPT. You can answer in a question answers tab, and then check whatever you have learned, have you understood properly and you're applying correctly, because we have to really be well versed with IMS. What will happen to document on which taxpayer has taken an action on IMS? There are 4 actions, right? Accept, reject, pending, and no action. If you accept, then all accepted records will become part of ITC available section of GSTR 2B, and then getting auto-populated in 3B. If reject becomes a part of ITC rejected section of GSTR 2B, you can view it, and it will not auto-populated in 3B. Pending, so neither it will go in 2B nor it will go in 3B. It will be kept remain on IMS dashboard subject to limitation of 16 subsection 4. No action deemed accepted gets auto-populated in draft GSTR 2B. Then you need to take action as we normally take in GSTR 3B. This is what it is, all replication of these 4 actions. Amendment in GSTR 1A and cutoff date. I have done this analysis with all of you. If amendment is done by 13th of next month, it's a part of draft GSTR 2B. If amendment is done after 13, let's say on 15th, being recipient, you can accept such invoice. You have to only recompute your GSTR 2B for availing credit before filing GSTR 3B. This is what this slide is talking about. In certain cases, liability of supplier is added back in subsequent tax period. And here I will take a little slow pace so that you can understand. Supplier's liability gets added in subsequent tax period. So listen very carefully, what is the slide we are referring to? In this particular slide, the liability of supplier will be increased in GSTR 3B for the subsequent tax period, not the relevant tax period. If I'm saying January, the liability gets added in the month of February tax period. There are 4 transactions. If original credit note rejected by the recipient. So let's say supplier raising credit note in January, and supplier is also taking adjustment of tax component on credit note in January, but you as a recipient has rejected this original credit note. Then this will add back to the liability of supplier in the month of February. This is what this is meaning coming out. Quite obvious, when you're rejecting credit note, it means you're not accepting the credit note issued by the supplier. In a given case, if supplier has taken adjustment, he need to pay back. Of course, with the subsequent month, February month, GSTR 3B liability. This is what this answer. And when you're rejecting credit note, you need not require to reverse also. So that is what the meaning coming out. Coming to the second part. Any upward amendment of the credit note as against 10 rupees, let's say you are doing 12 rupees upward by the recipient, irrespective of action taken on the original credit note. So any upward amendment of credit note rejected by the recipient, irrespective of the fact action taken by the recipient on original credit note, quite understandable. Let's try to understand so that we can get a clear idea. Let's say I'm being supplier. I raise original credit note for 10 rupees. Let's assume. And subsequently, I'm making upward amendment, making it 12. And that is being rejected by you. Then irrespective of fact, what action you have taken on original credit note, the liability will get added back in supplier's liability in February month. This is what it is talking about. Coming back to the third component, downward amendment of the credit note as against 10, it is 8. And which is rejected by you as a recipient. And if you have rejected the original credit note, then quite obvious, corresponding liability will get added back with the supplier's liability in subsequent tax period. Last one, any downward amendment of invoice or credit note. Downward means as against 100 rupees invoice, you are making it 90. Or debit note, which is rejected by the recipient. Where original invoice and debit note was initially accepted by the recipient. So to the extent of 10 rupees, the liability will get added back in supplier's liability in subsequent tax period. So this is a specific situation pertaining to pending item and action taken. That is what it is talking about, liability of supplier. Which all transaction will not go to IMS. So no need of taking any action. It will not be coming on IMS. So nothing except reject, pending or no action. So what all transaction will not go to IMS? First is RCM transaction. Being recipient, you need to pay GST under reverse charge. That will not flow to IMS. Remembered ITC 16 subsection 4 after 30th November of next financial year will not go to IMS. That is clearly mentioned. Any ineligible ITC, let's say because of POS. POS issue means what? Let's say you are daily registered, let's assume, and you go to Mumbai, stay in a hotel, Le Meridian Hotel. So Le Meridian Hotel is raising invoice CGST and Maharashtra SGST. POS would be Maharashtra, and that is not getting auto-populated. It will not come to, because that is not eligible credit for you in daily registration. It will not go to IMS. So there is no question of accepting such. GSTR 5, return filed by the non-resident taxable person, will not go to IMS. ISD, input service distributor credit, GSTR 6, will not go to IMS. IceGate bill of entry will not go to IMS. So it will not go. And last one, when you're reversing ITC under Rule 37, because of non-payment within 180 days from date of invoice, or Rule 37A, effective from 26 December 2022, and that was, supplier need to pay by 30th September. If supplier does not pay, then recipient need to reverse by 30th November. That is the Rule 37A. So if you are reversing any credit pertaining to Rule 37 and 37A, it will not go to IMS. Certain more FAQs quickly run through, and then we will have definitely open house question answer session also. So that any doubt, we will try to respond back to you. But I'm trying my best. You should get maximum grip on the subject matter of IMS. What happened to two-way? Whether two-way will continue as it is? Yes, two-way is a dynamic statement. It will continue as it is. 2B is only static, and 2B is relevant for availing credit. That is how we have to keep in our mind. Can you download all data available in IMS? Can you download in Excel? Possible. And this utility, this facility is given on IMS dashboard for handling number of transactions. Will RCM document received from registered supplier also form part of IMS? Now, this is very interesting. Though I have answered, you answer in a question answers tab. There are two kinds of RCM transaction. Section 9, subsection 3. Let's say GTA, who is a transporter, registered and raising invoice, transaction is subject to RCM. Let's assume. So supplier GTA registered, raising invoice subject to RCM. You as a recipient need to pay GST liability. Will it flow to IMS? And second could be that supplier is not registered. 9 subsection 4 transaction. Self-invoice need to be raised by you, which would be eligible document for you to availing credit. Whether this transaction will go to IMS, both the transaction will not go to IMS, but continue to be part of your GSTR 2B as it is being reflected today. Can I take action multiple times on a document? I have answered. You can accept, reject only till the time of filing 3B. Once you file your 3B, it gets freezed. So whatever action, latest action taken by you will supersede the earlier action. So let's say some invoice you rejected. Later on you realize, no, it needs to be accepted. But before filing 3B, can you accept it? Answer is yes. And then your accept action will supersede the earlier action, rejected one. This is till the time filing of 3B. Once 3B is filed, then whatever action you have taken is freezed. So just bear in your mind, let's say some invoice which you need to accept. Let's assume you rejected by mistake. You rejected and you filed 3B also as a recipient. Can you accept in subsequent tax period? Tell me, is it possible? Write down the answer in question answers tab. Can you accept this invoice in subsequent tax period, which was rejected and you have filed 3B? Believe me, you can't. You can't accept in subsequent tax period. This is one of the problem we are sharing and discussing with the GSTN authority. Why this is not available to me? You should give me the option till the time 16 subsection 4. So this is all work in progress. You may be having number of other questions also for which we are looking for the answer. So what you can do, you can always write back. You can always send such queries to me. Just allow me for a minute. We can compile all such queries and then share with the GSTN authority. It is all work in progress. We all are in preparation mode. So at least whatever query coming to your mind for this preparation mode, you can always write back on my LinkedIn, on my Twitter, on my Facebook, wherever you have my contact details. We will compile all such queries. Wherever answer is available, our team will respond back to you. But wherever we are not having any answer, we will write back to GSTN authority for getting answer from them. So this is one of the query which I thought you must take a note of it. And this query is now getting important. Let's say we all know that 30th November is the last date, right? Let's take an example so that you can understand in a very lucid manner. For financial year 23-24, last date to avail credit was 30th November 24, right? Let's say your supplier raising some invoice pertaining to 23-24 in October 24. Possible, right? And you can get the credit also. But by mistake, you need to accept, but you have rejected that invoice. And you have filed your 3B for the month of October, which is 20th November. You were supposed to accepted, but you taken the action rejected in that particular month. Once it is rejected, then it would be available as a view in GSTR 2B and will not be getting auto-populated in your GSTR 3B and relevant for 23-24 last date. What you will do, there was issue and you need to be careful about. So whenever you're looking at the last month, so financial year 24-25, let's take an example. Which month would be important for you to be careful about? October 25. October 25. So in that particular month, my suggestion to you, to all of you would be, you accept. Let it go to your accepted credit 4A, 5 of 3B, and then you analyze whether that credit is available, not available. Then you can do the working and calculation and apply 4B1 and 4B2 of GSTR 3B. Because by accepting, credit will flow to 2B and 3B, and then you can analyze while filing 3B. But if you reject, then it is rejected credit in 2B, will not auto-populated in 3B and will create. And this is another challenge, like the earlier challenge which I was discussing with all of you. So I'm finding many challenges, rest assured. I'm only asking each one of you to jot down those pointers and get set ready. Maybe today you're not aware of, but when you start applying such principle which is given on IMS through FAQ, manual draft, any guidelines given by GSTN, we have to get ourselves prepared. I'm again repeatedly telling you, write back to those queries on my social media channel. You can even today take a click and post such queries. We can take a note of it. Wherever answers available, our team would be pleased to answer your query. But wherever answer is not available, we will compile those queries and will send to GSTN authority, CBIC also, for getting answer from them. Let's move. Can place of supply be changed by the supplier in GSTR 1? And what will be impact on the ITC? For layman understanding, let's say you're daily registered and I'm your supplier, I'm also daily registered. By mistake, if I mention place of supply, let's say Tamil Nadu, quite obvious, it would be conflicting, right? It will not be getting to your 2A, 2B in your daily registration. So can supplier amend the place of supply in GSTR 1? Answer is yes. Place of supply can be changed by the supplier in GSTR 1 subject to the time limit given in the GST law, which is time limit as prescribed. So under section 37, time limit again 30th November. Further, if ITC become ineligible for either or region due to change in place of supply, and what is the practical example could be? Initially, I've shown Delhi, you have taken the credit, but it was not Delhi, it was Tamil Nadu. So it becomes ineligible. Then recipient should reverse the ITC in table 4B1 of GSTR 3B. Hope you are getting it. I'm applying practical also with the answer given in FAQ. Next FAQ. What will happen if recipient reject original credit note or upward amended credit note? I've answered to all of you. When original credit note or upward credit note rejected by the recipient, quite obvious, it will add back to the supplier's liability in subsequent tax period. Some more FAQ. Action taken on a document with saved status. It is not filed. So before filing 1, in saved status. Edited, changed by supplier before filing his GSTR 1. It was in a save mode. I've said, and again repeating for the sake of understanding, amended record will replace saved document in IMS. An action taken on it will be reset. If deleted, such record will be removed from the IMS. That is what. So saved would be superseded by the records filed with GSTR1. That is how. And action taken on filed will be prevailing, will be substantiating, will be the resultant outcome for availing credit or rejecting the credit. What happened if recipient reject a record before or after filing GSTR1, before or after rejecting? If before, the record can be edited, and such edited record will again be made available to the recipient in IMS for action. If after filing you are rejecting it, supplier can amend. That is the option available through GSTR1A or subsequent month GSTR1 or through invoice furnishing facility. Document kept as pending in IMS. So it will be kept pending till the time limit 16 subsection 4, and after that it is removed from IMS. If supplier amend a forward charge method invoice to be a reverse charge method, impact on ITC. This is interesting one. So let's say supplier has amended the forward charge invoice as a reverse charge. Initially he has said forward charge, let's say GTA for an example, but subsequently he said no, it's a reverse charge. So what would be the needful action? Action would be supplier can amend invoice within the time limit prescribed, no bar. Section 37. Reverse charge invoice will flow to 2B of the recipient because of now reverse charge is being amended by the supplier. IMS will reduce the ITC of such forward charge invoice which was initially raised and accepted by you. So bear in your mind. What about GSTR 2B for quarterly taxpayer? Of course, quarterly taxpayer for month 1 and month 2, 2B is not auto-generated. There is no draft GSTR 2B. So what they are saying for quarterly taxpayer, GSTR 2B quarter-wise will be generated on 14th of quarter plus 1 month. So March ending, April 14th. And recomputation will be followed till the time filing of corresponding 3B. Recompute is possible. If recipient rejects the original credit note or upward amended credit note, I have responded back. In such cases, tax liability will get added back with the suppliers in subsequent tax period. Some more FAQ. Which invoices are visible on IMS dashboard since 14th October 2024? Because this started the optional mode. So all records eligible for GSTR 2B of October 24 return period onwards be made available. So first and foremost, 14th of November 2024 is the important draft GSTR 2B, which is auto-populated for a return file for the period of October 24. But as on date, it is optional, but action can be taken on IMS dashboard. Can taxpayer act after 14th of November and regenerate GSTR 2B of October 24 return period without seeing the answer? You tell me. I have already said. Write down the answer in question answers tab. Can it be done? Can you take the action after 14? Possible, and you can recompute, but before filing 3B. Is it mandatory to act on IMS? What happens if no action is taken? It is not mandatory, but no action means deemed accepted and auto-generated draft GSTR 2B on 14th of next month. Why a credit note cannot be kept as pending? The question might come to your mind, why a credit note cannot be kept pending as supplier has reduced his outward tax liability when he has raised the credit note. And you are either need to accept or reject. If you accept, then to that extent, you need to reverse as a recipient. If you reject, quite obvious, whatever adjustment taken by the supplier need to be added back. That is the reason you can't take pending action. Whether liability can be added in the same GSTR2B in case where credit note has been rejected by recipient before filing 3B by the supplier. As I said, for January, liability will get added back in subsequent tax period. Now we are coming back where you can see IMS, how you can take the actions, what are the options available, and with the challenges. So look at, I've given you the procedure. You need to go to GSTN portal, www.gst.gov.in with your login and user ID credential. Click the service tab, go to return, and return will show you IMS option. So you're clicking service, clicking return, and then IMS would be available to you. You can look at the procedure. This is which is coming out. So invoice management system dashboard is there. In that dashboard, you would be having the data pertaining to inward supplies view, which is available to you. Outward for supplier would be made available in time to come. You will see that this dashboard is sorted out in B2B invoices, B2B amendment, B2B debit note, B2C, everything is mentioned here. Now, when you see here, I'm not reading each of the component, but it is important for you to take note. Respective line item wise, you can pick up all the transaction under this category. So all B2B invoices can be picked up at one go. All B2B invoices amendment can be picked up at one go. So action may be no action, accepted, rejected, and pending. That is, you have to apply your hands on IMS dashboard and check. So 9.5, it is pertaining to e-commerce operator for specified services. That is how, and their amendment. Now, window to take action. When you take action, this window will come up. Records wise, you have to, on left hand side, you can see that drop down, the blank pointer is there. You need to tick that pointer. By ticking, you are picking up the transaction for taking needful action, either accept, reject, and pending. And then they are giving filter also for easy search. So if you want to undertake action on IMS dashboard by way of selecting GSTN of particular supplier, maybe invoice type B2B or B2B amendment status. So you can always do such kind of filter and then sort out such transaction and take action at one go. This is what this portal is talking about. Now, again, another more filter they have given. So this you have to apply on IMS dashboard. So more filters facilities are available. You have to only cross-check and do permutation combination in what manner, in what mode. It is more convenient to you. That is how. But you can pick up the transaction at one go with the category wise. When you don't take any action, means no action taken, you will get warning from the portal that you have not taken any action, which means, and this warning will come to your dashboard. It will say any record on the IMS dashboard where taxpayer takes no action will be deemed as accepted by the taxpayer, and credit will accordingly be flowed to respective GSTR2B. So no action means deemed accepted. Your draft GSTR2B auto-populated on 14th of next month. So no action means deemed accepted. But subsequently, while filing 3B, you need to take needful action for table 4B1. Credit ineligible and need to be reversed, like Rule 38, Rule 42, 43, 17, subsection 5. Table 4B2, credit eligible, but you need to reverse for the timing to be availed later. There are so many provision, and that is how we have to put it under 4B2. And that is what all changes are being made in GSTR 3B effective from July 2022. July 2022. Now, things to do. What you would be doing now. We have seen the first cut, the basic information, overview. What is GST? How GST is when got introduced, where it was envisaged, there would be invoice label matching, but never got introduced. First time IMS, which is now being introduced, which is an optional mode from October 24, but it is important for us because now 55th GST Council meeting has made the recommendation and it is going to be compulsory. So we have to really start learning IMS, and IMS is important for so many regions, which I have said in the beginning part of my presentation. So what you would be doing today, coordinate with your supplier to ensure timely receipt of invoices, because ultimately your credit is dependent on your tax compliant supplier. Provide comprehensive training to your staff, to your company, for efficient invoice management system. Integrate, important one, your software, whatever package you are using. Integration required for seamlessly with GSTN portal for smooth compliances. There should be proper integration so that you can pick up the large data seamlessly and take the needful action which is required on IMS dashboard. Regularly review invoice status and update to prevent future liabilities. Take action as important, accept, reject, pending in IMS. Strengthen the system, check and process rather than manual driven. So time is come for automation. Yes, it looks like sometimes extra compliances, but to my mind, it is going to done away all ITC mismatch issues. And very first time, and I've also discussed while defending 16 subsection 2 clause C, I discussed in the beginning, this IMS is now going to be, and backbone, you can say invoice level matching going to start from October 24, which was envisaged from July 17. So all past litigation on invoice label, you can defend only on IMS, but your preparation for the future's sake is important one. Now, open issues. What are the open issues? How bulk invoices to be managed. When you are for an MNC large volume transaction, as on date, portal is not giving any kind of offline utility. So we are all expecting, and it will come, rest assured. But we have to integrate our ERP with the GSTN. We have to see when offline utility is made available. And then this offline utility, how to be uploaded, need to be cross-checked so that we are getting prepared for voluminous transaction. Second issue, when invoice are having multiple line item, and more challenging when some line item taxable and some line item exempted. So where taxable, you will get the credit. Where exempted, you will not get the credit. How to be done? So we need to have more clarity. These are the question which is already there in my questionnaires, which we are looking for the answer from the GSTN. But you need to get yourself, and that's what I'm asking and requesting my all the participants to write such queries on my social media platform. We will collate such queries, compile. Wherever answer available, you will get surely from my team. And wherever answer is not available, of course, we are going to share with the GSTN for more answering of such queries. Integration of ERP with the GSTN important. Hand-holding and training, not only for your company, even for your supplier. Important one for your customer. proper reconciliation, and these are the factors we need to be undertaking ASAP, as soon as possible. So this PowerPoint presentation is available. Rest assured, all the participants of this webinar will get this PPT. So rest assured, this PPT is made for you only, and you will get this PPT for your preparation. Even this video going to be available. This video going to be available maybe after a few days, so that you can correlate the PPT with the video and then get yourself prepared. I always believe we are trying our best, and Zoho Books is taking so much of initiative and trying their best that we can really walk the talk and make GST good and simple tax for all of us together. So I'm through with my IMS presentation. Hope each one of you has got good insight on IMS, and we all can start to walk the talk together. And that is how we can prepare ourselves for better preparation and less of ITC mismatching issues. Thank you very much. Handing over to Hers to take it forward.
Thank you so much, sir. This PPT session was really well received by all the viewers today. And we have very, very insightful questions in our hand. And I have shared it with you over a chat, and one by one, I'll start dictating the questions, sir. So tell me, sir, when you are ready.
Yeah, maybe you will start from the top or from the bottom?
So I'll be starting from the top, the first question that we got for the day.
From Sanidhya, am I right?
Yeah, yes, sir. All right, sir. So shall I start?
Yes, please.
So by Sanid here, the question is, sir, if in GSTR 3B, liability is reduced due to rejection of invoice by recipient, will it not lead to difference in GSTR 1 and GSTR 3B of supplier?
No, Sanidhya. Once invoice is being rejected, then quite obvious to that extent your liability, that transaction get auto-adjusted in GSTR 1 and corresponding 3B of the supplier. There's a one way. Another way could be maybe subsequent tax period, you will get adjustment of this tax paid in the preceding tax period. Next, Hers.
All right, sir. By Vikram Chowcharia, should we accept invoice which is correct, but we are not eligible to claim ITC of such invoice like block credit nature?
So here you should accept and then go to 4B1 and reverse the credit. That is the mode, that is what expected from us.
All right, sir. Next question is by Nitin Ramchandani. Can we restore rejected invoice to acceptance invoice?
Possible till the time you are filing your GSTR 3B for particular tax period.
Sir, I think your voice got cut off in between. So, am I audible to you? So attendees, sir says, sir is saying that there is some network issue from his end. He's trying to get back. So just hold on with us for a couple of minutes.
And
yes, sir. Now you're audible, sir.
Yes, please. We can start now.
Just a second, sir. Let me go to the question and answer tabs. Yes, sir. So again, so carrying on with the process now.
Yeah.
Yes. I was at Mr. Nitin Ramchandani's question.
We have done. Now you can start the Swapni.
All right, sir. So by Swapnil, what if one of my supplier filed GSTR 1A by 18th, but filed my GSTR 3B before 18th?
Then you will get credit in the subsequent tax period, Swapnil.
All right. By Ramesh Gupta, sir, what are the consequences of 16 by 4 time limit crossed and not taken the credit except ITC is not eligible?
So 16 for time limit gone, then no way that those invoices would be available to you on IMS and you can't take credit. That is what it is being configured on IMS and GSTN portal.
All right. By Neha Kalra, what if the supplier has shown the invoice in GSTR 1 and it is blocked under 17.5? Should we accept or not?
Neha, as I said, you should accept and then you should follow the table 4B1 and table 4B2 of GSTR 3B. That is advisable one.
By AG, sir, does recompute means re-downloading GSTR 2B?
Is not, of course, you can say re-downloading, that is a recompute, and that facility is re-downloading, but it is recomputed. So it's not re-downloading. It is only you have to recompute your GSTR2B, which can be downloaded again from the GSTN portal on IMS dashboard. So it is recomputation, AG.
CMA Neeraj Kumar asks, supplier adding invoices in his GSTR 1A, but these invoices shown only IMS of recipient but not reflected in 2B. As accept these invoices and recompute again and again, but not shown in 2B and cannot take ITC in same tax period. Please suggest.
Possible, Neeraj, I've explained to you by way of recompute your GSTR2B, it will be shown in 2B. In draft 2B generated on 14th, it will not be available. But once you accept and recompute your GSTR2B, it would be visible in that recompute GSTR2B.
All right. By Amitava Lahiri, will you kindly make a recommendation to CBIC for filing GSTR 3B by 25th instead of 20th so that we get time for handling IMS versus 2B?
Thank you very much. Next.
Sir, an October invoice which we kept as pending, but in December we accepted it, is still not showing in our GSTR 2B. What are possible reasons? By Rahul Kumar.
Raise some, ticket, Rahul, if it is pertaining to 24, 25, and somehow this problem is coming to your way, raise your ticket and write to GSTN help desk.
Ashwini Maske. In case of credit note issued by the supplier, but copy is not provided, or recipient is not aware about it, whether reversal of ITC is to be done in current month as same as appearing in EMS or can be rejected.
You can reject it, Aswini, unless it is being supported by document by supplier, and it is in supplier's interest, because once you reject such credit note, the corresponding liability will add back with the suppliers in a subsequent tax period. So he will start following the process, providing the documentation. So that will make your task easier. So for me, if you want to take him on task, reject it and let him take the needful action.
By Abhay Kumar, I have not used IMS in October, November, and December 24. But in Jan 24, IMS does not show bills of previous month due to deemed acceptance, which I booked in January 25 as per goods received. But we have not taken credit of the same in previous month because we override the credit shown in 3B as per our ITC calculation. What should we do?
No action means deemed accepted. Now, deemed accepted means such invoices will be removed from IMS. So that is the reason it is not visible to you. So you have to do proper reconciliation now. That is what the activity now open at your end. So by way of doing reconciliation, you can work out what was taken and what is left out. That would be the right way. Because no action means all deemed accepted and all the invoices will go away from IMS.
By Tanuj, how to work on heavy data, that is 1,000 invoice in 1 month?
Tanuj, I understand, and this is a big question. We all are looking for some kind of utility, and I'm hopeful that this utility will be provided to the all large voluminous data transaction, handling of large voluminous data transaction.
By Divanshu Kumar Bhanuji, sir, if I rejected CN, then supplier's liability increased. Then mismatch in GSTR 1 and 3B of supplier. What to do as supplier?
See, in particular month, let's say January, you are raising credit note and that is being rejected by recipient. So in January month, you have taken the adjustment of tax component on credit note, which gets added back in the February month. So this through this mathematics that is neutralized. So this reconciliation would be required accordingly.
Neha Kalra, another question. What if I accepted an invoice N, then I showed under 4B2 because it was not my invoice then?
Again, you can take action in subsequent tax period and reverse the credit in 4B1. So that is how you have to do it, Neha.
Question 1. I think there are a couple of questions by Rohan Kirtane. Question number 1. Vendor saved the invoice and was reflecting in IMS. After checking the IMS, payment was released by the recipient. After receiving the payment, vendor delete the saved invoice. What options recipient has?
That is advisable. Don't take such matter. I will always suggest you take the action only when file mode. So GSTR1 is being filed, and then you do such transaction. These are all commercial transaction, but while the invoice is saved, that then you need to take conscious call. My answer to you would be, Rohan, you should release the money when you see that the supplier is not that much tax compliant. Once he filed, then only you should accept it and pay the liability.
Also, can the vendor delete such invoice after uploading his GSTR1?
After he can't delete. After filing, he can't do that unless you reject it. He is having no option after filing.
Question number 2. Also, if the recipient rejects the eligible invoice of the seller after such recipient has already availed the services or received the goods, what options are available to the supplier?
If recipient reject the eligible invoice after such recipient has already availed, what options are available to the supplier? This is what I'm looking for, that something should be kept open till the time 16/4 time limit is open to us. So we are working and we are talking to GST, and hopefully they will provide some mechanism for availing such credit. Where you are rejecting invoice, it may be by mistake, but subsequently this should be available to you as accepted one.
By Aditya Modi. As per current law, a supplier can issue a consolidated credit note for multiple original invoices. Under IMS, accept or reject is mandatory. Should we enforce suppliers to compulsorily issue GST credit note each original invoice wise only, and compulsorily mention the reference of original invoice number so that the same can be easily tracked and accepted on IMS?
Aditya, it was a demand of trade that consolidated credit note can be issued against multiple original invoices. Now, if you want that this should be made invoice-wise, again, it will create more work for the supplier. Maybe GSTN can provide some mechanisms through which consolidated credit note can be tracked invoice-wise. That mechanism need to be provided to the taxpayer for the ease of business. So maybe we can start asking this point to the GSTN rather than asking supplier to raise credit note invoice-wise.
The last question for the day by Kishore Makwana. MS portal 1 client rejects sales October 24, but sales rejection not updated in portal due to this liability not affected. Please guide and credit note also reject. So that effect done in IMS. So sir, I am not able to understand the question.
Even it is not clear to me what he means to say that if it is a credit note can be issued even for the sales rejection. So credit note, when raised, you can take the adjustment as a supplier, but need to be accepted by the recipient. What happened if credit note is again rejected? Then rejected means you are, as a supplier, you will not get any adjustment as a supplier. But here there are two things contrarily going together. So not clear about it, but we need little more clarity for answering this query.
All right. So last question by Umesh B. Sir, are you willing to take one question last? Okay. So it's on the question and answer. I'm copying it for you, sir. Just for a minute. I'm sending it to your personal chat. Okay. Now this question is by Umesh P. We reversed ITC in July 24 because of 17 section 5. But now supplier is raising credit note. If accepted, it is a double reversal. What to do?
You have already reversed and now he's raising credit note. Then you are not supposed to reverse because you have already reversed the same. It's the adjustment. Now credit note part, why he's raising credit note? This is again, you need to look at. So commercially, we have to understand this transaction. A particular invoice for which you have reversed the credit. Now he's raising credit note against that invoice. So it means I should get the credit back. Why double reversal? There should not be double reversal. We need to look at the transaction and find the solution for it. So it is like, we have to really sit down and understand the transaction, and then only we can provide the answer.
All right. Right. So I think it was the last question.
Now, before we leave, my humble submission, those who are still with me and they are not going away, I'm first of all thankful to each one of you, those who are still sitting. See, sometimes what happened when we start, everyone is around, but because of time, somebody has to go, so they leave. They always look at, okay, I will see the PPT later. But I'm thankful to each one of you for your time. You have taken out your time. And I've tried my best to give you little, I said I've tried my best to give you the broad overview on IMS. I've picked up the relevant point which is coming out from manual issued by GSTN, FAQ, lot many things, and still lot many queries are not answered. We all are looking for the answer. For that, I requested each one of you to write back to us. We will collate such queries and will send back to GSTN and CBIC policy being. We are looking for the answer. So we need little more clarity, little more hand holding, and we have to go together. And that is how we can learn and prepare IMS together. So before we leave, let me first compliment and wish each one of you happy Republic Day on 26th January. We are celebrating. Let's feel proud. We are proud Indian citizens. So enjoy this mesmerizing moment for all of us together, Republic Day. And thanking each one of you. Be part of our this hand holding. 4th of February, we are doing budget webinar. So Union Budget 2025. We are going to have one more webinar on Zoho platform. You will come to know timing and everything. It would be around 4:30 on 4th of February. And I'm going to touch base direct and indirect both together. So that's sure this time you will hear direct access, important changes from Bimal Jain also. So thanking each one of you and thanking Hers and Zoho Books team for taking this initiative and making it so handy to all the taxable person in India. You are making GST really good and simple tax, and we all are trying ourselves. We know that as a tax practitioner, lot many challenges, but together we will make difference. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And we from Zoho team, we are really glad that you are here on our platform, and with the help of you, we are able to spread this message. And as sir said, so 4th of February, 4:30 p.m. This time I won't be there. One of my other colleagues will be there, but sir will be here as usual to kind of charm us with his knowledge. The title for the webinar is digest of important changes in Union Budget 2025. Social media post will be out soon. This video and PPT will be out on our YouTube channel by Tuesday. And one more news, on 21st of February, you'll get the announcement soon. Sir will be in Nagpur with us. So stay tuned for all the details, and thank you very much for staying with us. Thank you, sir, and thank you all.
Thank you. Thank you.